Right now at 6, people living in Portland's Pearl District are worried after a string of assaults.
I realize you got to protect yourself. There's no police to come to your rescue.
Plus, how a neighbor helped Salem police catch a suspect they say lured an 11-year-old girl from her home.
Then, how local experts are pushing back on federal cuts into critical vaccine research.
Your immune system needs a new blueprint.
And later, remembering the life and music
She's the one and only. There will never be another Nancy King in any way.
of Portland jazz legend Nancy King. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. We begin here at 6 in Salem, where police have arrested a man they say lured an 11-year-old girl from her home and kidnapped her.
This was yesterday evening in a neighborhood near Lansing and Kathleen Avenue Northeast. After a more than 3-hour search, authorities, with the help of a neighbor, say they found the pair in a secluded area that was hidden by shrubs. Police say the child was not physically hurt. 48-year-old Elijah Galaviz Arce now faces charges of kidnapping, attempted rape, and giving a controlled substance to a minor. And police believe he could have other victims.
These sorts of behaviors are very abnormal in a community as a whole. And typically, in my experience and my training, these sorts of behaviors don't sort of pop up overnight. It's after years of established behavior patterns.
Anyone with information about Arce or this case is asked to call Salem Police.
And take a look at this security video. It shows the moment a woman was chased into a business in Northwest Portland's Pearl District. It is situations like this that has people living in the area feeling vulnerable and in some cases taking protection into their own hands.
So this evening they are sounding the alarm over concerns they say about what is still to come. John Adams is live in the Pearl with the details. John?
Yeah, David and Christine, I spoke to a few longtime Pearl residents earlier today who are now taking extra steps to protect themselves after a string of assaults here in the area. Some are also concerned things could get worse when a 200-bed homeless shelter opens up in the neighborhood.
It's sad. No security. It's like every man for themselves.
Residents of Portland's Pearl District say there's been a shift in safety in their neighborhood. Guthrie Murray Jr. has lived here for 15 years and says things have gotten worse of late.
Homeless people, their bicycles, their dogs, their aggressiveness, they use smoking the fentanyl.
Over the past few weeks, there have been multiple incidents near Tanner Springs Park. According to PPB, in late July, a man followed a resident into the parking garage of the Cosmopolitan condos before stealing a camping hatchet from a vehicle and carrying it around the garage. Also in late July, security video from the Fields Bar and Grill shows a shirtless suspect attacking a woman seemingly out of nowhere.
Well, it makes us feel unsafe, especially when the assaults are happening in our blocks. And, they're happening to elderly people because we have a huge elderly population here in the Pearl.
Linda Witt says residents are being left to pay for their own security to try to stay safe.
My building has to pay for private security to loop around the building at night to make sure that nobody's breaking in.
Residents are also concerned about a 200-bed homeless shelter the city of Portland is opening in the neighborhood in September.
If you know people that haven't written the mayor, keep writing.
Despite fierce pushback from the Northwest District Association.
They're concentrating a drug crisis in the neighborhood with multiple hundreds of people who are going to be sheltered at night but then released out into the streets during the day. It's just creating a fertile ground for just craziness and dangerous conditions.
Some are now taking new measures to protect themselves.
I did buy some mace, some mace, because I realized you got to protect yourself. There's no police to come to your rescue.
Well, the owner of the Fields Bar and Grill, who provided that security video we just saw just a couple of minutes ago, said they've been burglarized 14 times. They've had to hire their own private security to keep employees and customers safe. David, Christine, back to you.
Wow, 14 times, and yet they're still trying to make it work. John Adams in the Pearl. Thanks, John.
your headlines this evening, a U.S. Army sergeant is accused of shooting 5 soldiers and prompting a lockdown at the Fort Stewart Army base in Georgia this morning. Army officials say 28-year-old Sergeant Cornelius Radford was tackled and taken into custody shortly after he opened fire. They add Sergeant Radford used a personal gun and not a military firearm. So far, there's no word on a motive. The injured soldiers are in stable condition and are recovering.
In Clark County, the medical examiner has now identified the man who was killed by a sheriff's deputy last Wednesday. They say 36-year-old Brandon Whitcomb died of gunshot wounds to his head, neck, and torso. Authorities say Whitcomb was wanted in connection with a disturbance from earlier in the evening and was reported to be carrying a gun. The State Office of Independent Investigations is now reviewing that use of force.
Portland police have ID'd the man suspected of drawing a swastika on the doorframe of a Northeast Portland business. They say community tips helped them identify 38-year-old Joseph Thompson as the suspect. He was already in jail, accused of threatening someone with a knife and yelling slurs in the Lloyd district. Police also confirmed Thompson was arrested in May after causing damage to a Papa Murphy's in Woodstock, but then was released on bail. Thomason now faces a new bias crime charge related to the swastika drawing.
Oregon Governor Tina Kotek has signed 4 bills into law addressing the state's behavioral health and substance abuse crisis. Now, one notable bill aims to make it easier to force treatment on people with severe mental illness.
So when we see people on the street who might be having a crisis, I think we're going to have a more direct path to saying, hey, let's get you some health care right now, because you're clearly in crisis, and because you're so ill, you might not know it. But if we can get you stabilized and get you somewhere safer, you're going to get better. And that is what the focus of that bill is. We should use it carefully. We should use it prudently.
Other laws fund new residential treatment facilities and support safety for behavioral health workers.
And a heads up for people living in Southwest Washington. The State Department of Revenue says they've got more than $2 billion in unclaimed cash and property, some of which might be yours. They say 1 in 7 Washington residents will have something waiting for them. It could be anything from valuables left inside an old safe deposit box to rebate checks. The Revenue Department says the fastest and easiest way to check if you have unclaimed property is through their website. Matt?
All right, Christine, thanks very much. It has been a cloudy day, rainy this morning, of course, but look, the clouds are beginning to break up a little bit. You see a little bit of sunshine trying to break through out at the Reserve Golf Course in Washington County, where it's 69 degrees, and even with that, there are still some showers out there. We've had some drizzle, some light sprinkles in town in just the last little bit. Here's Doppler radar, and you can see we're not quite done. There's still some to our north and west, so that'll swing on through. But by later tonight after sunset, the showers will end, and we will be dry until further notice, basically. And not only that, it's going to get hot. We've got weather impact alert days for Sunday and Monday as we go to the mid-90s Sunday and the upper 90s on Monday. And that'll be the hottest day of the year so far as we top out right around 99 degrees. What about the humidity? Very humid today, of course, with the rain that we've had. That's to be expected, but it's going to drop way down tomorrow. And after that, it shouldn't be too bad, even with the hot weather coming our way. Guys?
Yeah, definitely feel the humidity today. Thanks, Matt.
Now at 6, an 18-year-old suspect is in jail after he allegedly attacked an 82-year-old woman.
Yeah, police say the assault happened Sunday night on a popular walking trail in Tigard, just behind the public library. Jake Holter is live in Washington County, where that man appeared in court this afternoon. Jake.
Yeah, Christine and David, Marcellus Ford is facing a second-degree assault charge for this crime. We went to the trail where it happened to hear people's reaction to the attack.
For me, I don't feel threatened at all, but that's sad that anybody would do that.
First matter is State of Oregon versus Ford, 25.
18-year-old Marcellus Ford appearing virtually in Washington County Court Wednesday afternoon, accused of assaulting an 82-year-old woman Sunday night. Police say the woman was walking on the Fano Creek Trail behind the Tigard Public Library when Ford began following her. Cyclists later found the woman unconscious on the trail and called 911. She was hospitalized with serious injuries. Police say the attack appears to be random and that this type of crime is unusual in this area.
I walk it every day, 5 days a week, and I never really have had a problem.
Yeah, we're here a lot, probably almost twice a week, and found it super safe, and with the new bridge and stuff, we love it because, you know, my measure is you see all the families and everybody out here, and it's been really great for Tigard.
Surveillance video captured Ford at the library and in the downtown area after the assault. Police released surveillance photos asking for the public's help in identifying him on Tuesday, and Ford was caught soon after. Tigard resident Darren Swanson believes people shouldn't be deterred from using the trail.
People should get out and enjoy their community. So, and I think that there's a virtuous cycle there. The more people that do it, the less likely stuff like this is to happen. And if unfortunately it does happen, then immediately you can help the lady.
And Tigard police telling us about an hour ago that there is still no update on that woman's condition. Ford is being held without bail and no plea was entered. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for next week. Back to you.
All right, Jake Holter in Hillsborough this evening. Thanks, Jake.